the pedagogical structure, yeah? So this is about what? The intro to the grammar. So in our agenda, the first question what is grammar? So what is grammar?
A structure.
It's
Such as
structure.
verbs, nouns,
Okay, verbs, nouns, okay, yes, no?
Set of rules
Set of
in the
rules.
English language.
Okay, Salam. What do you think? Anything related to grammar? When you hear the word grammar, what do you think?
Language.
Language?
That's all I can think.
Yeah. So example of grammar like what?
Like Guilty Convention,
Yes.
nouns, verbs,
Nouns,
adverbs,
verbs, yes.
adjectives.
Adjectives, even the complex compound sentences.
Yes, okay, good. So that's part what of grammar. Okay. Second point, we will debate about grammar teaching. Okay. So when you think about how you will teach grammar, so what do you think? Yes. How will you teach it?
I mean, kind of start off with the basics first of all. So
Okay.
grammar, maybe like give them a sentence and then start explaining out the sentence, like what is a noun, what is a verb,
Okay.
and then start to give them examples that they're going to use.
So for you, it's with examples. Yeah. Okay. Good. Salam.
Other than examples, I think it's important that the students know how to make the sentences, because every sentence depends if it's for past, present, or future.
Okay. So
So-
you will explain in details
Yeah, in
how they
details.
structure a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I would simplify grammar for them so they can understand it, because grammar is complex, but if we make it simpler, they might even later use it in their daily
So
lives.
how will you do that?
I would simplify it
How?
when I explain it.
How?
I would start with the basics first and then go complex.
Okay. So you didn't think about, let's say, watch a movie and then from the movie or scenes they can get how they can use the grammar, for example.
I mean, yeah, there are maybe those children videos that they would put on TV.
Even for like adults, yeah. If you are teaching another language, for example, not English, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be one way of teaching the grammar. Okay. Okay. And then we'll discuss what historical changes in grammar teaching, like in history, how the teaching of grammar has changed. Okay, from traditional to like modern, especially now we are thinking of what? Of innovation, yeah. And second month, I mean February will be what?
Innovation.
Innovation month, okay? Okay. So the first task, okay, or activity in class, tell me about your experience of learning grammar, okay? For example, here, like, let's say, take 5 minutes and think about how you learned grammar in schools, okay? In your time. Think about your role, the role of the teacher, the role of your classmate, kind of activities you carry out. How do you feel about your grammar learning experience, advantages, disadvantages, and then share your thoughts with your partners and be ready to share with the class, okay? So what do you think? Tell me about your own experience when you learned the grammar. How did you learn it?
I learned grammar through reading books.
Okay.
So the more I read books, the more I knew how sentences worked. And if I had any questions, I would go to the teacher and ask her, and she would answer and tell me, explain it to me if I didn't understand anything. So books was my way of understanding
Okay,
grammar.
good. So through her books, okay, yes?
So we started at an early level, so it was more kind of videos rather than books,
Yeah.
and then we went to worksheets and objects. So we will point at objects and then we will try on them.
Okay, good. Through videos, yes?
I remember that I would start off with singing. You know
Okay.
how when you're in
Yeah.
kindergarten you would sing a lot of
Yeah.
nursery songs,
Yeah.
and the grammar in that is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like but the children understand that language.
Yeah,
So
okay.
by singing, and then from there they watch videos, they'll understand basically.
Okay, good. So that was your experience. Okay. If we think about what is grammar, okay, historically grammar has been considered to be, as all of you mentioned, is about what noun, verbs, pronouns, all these kind of parts of words, okay? If you flip the page, okay, so we'll discuss more what is grammar, okay. So grammar is not, can you read, Latifa?
Grammar is not a discrete set of meaningless dogmas. They contours generalizations or static structure.
Okay.
Descriptive rules about linguistic form.
Okay, so what does that mean? So grammar, does it have a meaning or not?
No, it does have meaning.
It has meaning.
It has meaning. Yeah, okay. So whatever you read through the grammar, you understand, yeah? If I say, let's say, I was in Dubai yesterday. I am in Al Ain today. So,
It has meaning.
what did you understand?
That you were in Dubai and then now
Yeah.
you're in a line.
So yesterday I was in Dubai.
You're talking
yeah? So
about
that's in the past.
past, yeah.
Today here I'm in Al Ain.
Present.
So it is the present. Okay, so it has what? Meaning, okay? Okay, and it has what? A form, yeah, linguistic form. For example, was and yeah? So it has different what? Form, okay? Okay, so what is grammar then? Yes, no, can you read?
Grammar is a system of lexico-grammatical patterns that are used to make meaning in appropriate ways. There is a great deal of choice to be made in the way that language users adapt and use these patterns. Grammar is not a static system of rules. It is a dynamic system that has to be used in a meaningful and authentic ways.
Okay, good. So what is the word the lexo-grammatical? Lexo, it's from what?
From lexical,
Yes.
which means
What does it mean?
Words.
with meaning.
Yes, so it is the words, okay? And grammatical is what? The grammar, okay? So lexical, grammatical patterns, okay? So you have the choice, yeah? You choose what you use based on the context, yeah? So it is not static. What do you mean by static? Dynamic, it is the opposite, yeah? So what is dynamic?
Moving.
So can it be changed or not?
Yes, it can.
Yeah,
be
it can be changed.
Yeah, you change it based on the context, yeah?
Yes.
Whatever you are saying, yeah? So it depends. So that what does it mean? You choose to say it, it has a meaning and it is what? Dynamic. You choose what to say. It has like, for example, sometimes with the same form, but the meaning can be different in when you change all the words together, yeah? Okay. And sometimes with your voice and all that can be changed, okay? And okay. So here we have some examples, okay? Example 1. She didn't marry him because she loved him, okay? Are they married?
Yes. No.
She didn't marry him because she loved him. So the question, are they married?
Yes.
So it depends on how you read the sentence, okay? She didn't marry him.
Ah, okay, that's why I thought I was confused. So, she did not marry him because she loved him. It's like she married him, but it's not because she loved him. But if you said she didn't marry him, and then the reason why didn't she marry him? Because she didn't love him. Or because she loved him, I mean.
Okay, so the second one, she didn't marry him because she loved him. She married him for other reasons. So it depends how you read it, okay? The meaning can be changed, okay. Example 2. Okay, Salama, can you read example 2?
The drunk driver hit her head on Wednesday.
Okay, so you see here, if you cut the words, the sentence, it can give you what? Different meaning, yeah? For example, the drunk driver then hit her head on Wednesday. The other one, the drunk driver hit her head on Wednesday. The drunk driver hit her head on Wednesday. So, like, the meaning can be changed based on, for example, here is mostly what? With head on, yeah? Head on, her head, and the other one. Okay? So, can you give me example, like, an example? The same sentence, and maybe the way you read it will be different.
There is
The
this,
word speaker, yeah?
well, I know a word example.
Yeah.
It's unlockable.
Mm-hmm.
It can mean unlockable as in you can't unlock it, or unlockable as in you can't lock it again. Do you know what I mean? So it's either unlockable or unlockable. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know this example for the word, but you can put in a sentence.
Yes,
And
give me a
then
sentence so it will be easier for them to understand.
the door is unlockable. So we either say the door is unlockable, so you can't unlock it. No, it's
Yeah.
unlockable.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Okay, and think of some examples, okay? In your mind.
So unlockable means you can't lock it, but unlockable is
You can look.
yeah, you can lock it, so it's open.
You got what she means?
Yeah.
Well, that's for a word, but for a sentence, did not and didn't is a very good example. You can say, I don't know, did not, didn't.
Aren't they like the same though? Did not and didn't. I feel like it's the one that like the unlockable. You know how you add words to the word lock? That's how it changes the
Yeah.
sentence. Other than that, no.
Okay, other examples, maybe.
Can't really come up with an example in this stuff.
But you got the idea.
Yeah.
It is sometimes when you raise your hand, you raise your voice. It seems like like for example, let's say if you are saying to some kids, okay, let's say they tell you something, okay, and they will say, "Are you kidding me?" Or maybe, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are stupid, or are you stupid? So it's different, yeah. So sometimes you are like, you are laughing. You don't mean that they are stupid. It's just,
Sarcastic.
yes, like you are just like fun with them and all that. Okay. So that's how it can be different. Okay. Okay. So here debate about the grammar teaching. So the value of grammar in foreign language teaching has been a focus of debate for decades. Okay. So that's what we mean. Okay. For language and grammar, they have debate for how also they teach it and all that. Okay. Okay. So read the following statement about the grammar in English learning and decide if you agree with them or not and why. Let's see. Okay, so here are some assumptions. What are the assumptions?
Opinions, maybe, and whether
Yeah.
people agree with them or not.
Yeah. So they might be right or no. Yeah. It's like based on the opinion. Okay. So number one, the students need to be given detailed grammar rules if they want to learn a foreign language successfully. So what do you think? Yes or no?
Well, that was my point previously, that when you give grammar, you should simplify it and
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
detail.
it's gonna confuse them.
It's gonna confuse them, and they're not gonna learn the language.
So you have to think about the level of the students, yeah? And also you have to think about if they need it or not. So if they don't need it, so you don't have to confuse them, okay? But I mean, if they are, let's say, master level, or they are going to maybe for their graduate school, they have to learn because, for example, they might do like kind of research, yeah? So it depends. Okay. Number two, children do not learn grammar rules when they acquire their first language, so they don't need them either when learning a foreign language. What do you think?
No, it's not true. I feel like when we learn a new language, okay, we don't look at the grammar, but the structure of the sentence. But then later on, I would want to learn the grammar, or else it wouldn't make sense. Like if I want to
Even
make
if they
more
do
complex
not learn
sentences.
the grammar on their first language, they do still learn it later. So,
Okay.
for example, Arabic as our mother tongue, so I learned the language, but then I go to school and I learn the grammar of Arabic. So I think grammar is a very important aspect in the language.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, mostly what she said was true. I mean, like for me, in the English language, I'm used to it at the young age, so I did not really learn grammar because I already know the structure of the sentence.
Yeah.
But later on, I have to take grammar. Then only will the sentence structure actually make sense.
Okay. So we think it in a different way. For example, if you are learning like a third language, Spanish, yeah, like Spanish, it has some aspect of what, like English and also Arabic, yeah. So if you know the grammar, let's say in Arabic and English, or even not the grammar, even sometimes the words and all that, will be easier for you to learn the third language. So that's maybe like someone can make that assumption. Okay, so it depends. Okay. Okay. Number three, if students get enough chance to practice using a foreign language, they don't need to learn grammar. What do you think? They have practice, so no need for grammar.
No, I think grammar is important. It is.
Yeah, and as Latifa said, she said that after she learned grammar, the structure of the sentence made sense. So this is the difference if you did study grammar or not.
Yeah. So it depends. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Are we good to the time?
Yeah.
The time?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4, making students aware of grammatical information is one of the teaching objectives. Allowing students opportunities for using the language is just as important. So what do you think? Yes?
Yes, it's true. I think it's
I think, yeah, students need to learn the grammatical information because only then they're going to know how to use the grammar more efficiently, the language more efficiently, if they know the rules.
But in the case of Latifa, she said she learned acquired without, so it depends, yeah?
It depends, because I mean, if you're gonna be surrounded by people who keep on speaking the language, then yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes maybe you might need for writing,
Mm.
especially like official writing, yeah? So in that type of writing,
You need
should
to
be,
learn.
you have to learn the information of the grammar. Okay. Number 5. So grammar should be taught to help students to analyze difficult structures in text. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, because you will need details, yeah? Especially if you, for example, discourse analysis courses, yeah? You have to learn all the details. Okay. Number 6, teaching and learning grammar should focus on practice rather than the study of grammar itself. What do you think? So practice or teaching details?
We should balance between grammar and practice. Practice is important, but it's not more important than the grammar itself. So there should be a balance between teaching the grammar and then the practice.
Yeah. And also sometimes based on, for example, if you have IELTS for academic is different than IELTS for professional, yeah? And for example, if you want to teach the language, let's say for just communication, you are traveling to another country and the target language is what? Is English, for example, or other languages. So you want to communicate, yeah? You don't, think about, the grammar. You don't care. Okay, so it depends on what you want to use it, okay? But here for teaching, sometimes also it depends, okay? You teach it for what? Okay. Number 7, grammar should be taught and practiced in context. What do you think?
yes. So
Yeah.
that they will be able to recognize,
Yes.
authentic
And
materials
that,
also.
when we say sometimes when one sentence, it has different meanings, yeah? Based on the context, okay? But the traditional way, they will teach it as what the grammatical way, without context, okay? So they just memorize how to do this and before, after, and all that, yeah? Okay. Number 8, knowing grammar is not enough for real communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not enough, yeah?
Yeah, they should be able to communicate بعد ما.
Practice it in context so you understand. Okay. Okay. And inadequate knowledge of grammar would severely constrain the capacity for communication. So let's say if you are not good at the grammar, so will you communicate or not?
I can
Will
see
you
it.
still? You still, yeah?
Definitely.
Okay. So you can. Okay. The grammar will always be the boring bit of language learning. What do you think? Is it? What do you think? Is it boring? Latifa?
I think it's boring.
I mean, at first, yes.
Boring?
I think it's boring. Yeah,
It is.
it's
But
boring.
we can make it
Yeah,
enjoyable.
you can make it much more fun for the students.
It depends on how the teacher gives
Yeah.
or present it.
Yeah, and it depends how you learn, yeah? For example, now, Salama knows from last semester, I'm learning Spanish, yeah? So what I did, this semester, I downloaded an app, and yesterday I started with the first, lesson. So what they have just Ola, yeah?
Yeah.
And,
They start off really small and then they will teach you
and
something.
all the other steps like assessment. You have different questions and assessment. So that's sometimes, if you, let's say, if you are a group of students, okay, and you make assessment and you see who will get it all right, yeah? So as a competition, and then it can be a little bit fun, yeah? With gifts, award. So it depends how you teach it, okay? Okay. Okay. So here in this slide, okay, we'll continue. 2 extremes in teaching grammar. So what do you mean by extremes? Extreme, the word?
Major, something big. That's what extremes is.
It's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like overboard.
Even in politics, we say like, you know, left extreme or right extreme, يسارين, يمينين, so it's like over, okay? Okay. Like التشدد, let's say تشدد في الدين. So they are what? Extreme. Okay, so that's what I mean in extreme in grammar teaching. Okay. So overemphasize the role of grammar or overlook the role of grammar. Okay, so that's what it means. You overemphasize and overlook the role of grammar. Okay, you teach it, and it depends. Some, like, you know, it is mostly maybe the traditional way of teaching the grammar. Yeah, they only, you know, we have the textbooks and we have to memorize everything and all that. Okay, so that's what extreme. Okay, you overlook and overemphasize. Okay. So next slide. Okay, to what extent do you agree or disagree with these sentences? Oh, it's so too small.
Do you want me to read it?
I don't think so. No need. You just read it later.
Okay.
It will be the same idea. Okay? Okay. So should we teach the grammar or not? Okay? So the answer to whether grammar should be taught and to what extent grammar should be taught depends on some variables, okay? In the language teaching and learning context, such as learning variables and instruction variables. Okay, so what do you mean by variables? Do you know? Yes?
Isn't it like elements? Like stuff?
Yeah? متغيرات. Like elements can be changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you hear like every time when we answered the assumptions, I said it depends on the learner, depends on the context. So that's what I mean. It's variables. Depends on what? For example, it depends on the learners. So for example, you are the learners, yeah? Okay, so let's say if you want to learn, as I said, for your profession, or you want to stay in that country, or maybe you want it for your academia, yeah? So it depends what you want as a learner. And also instructional variables. For example, you are in what? And your major is English for elementary and secondary, yeah? So you are a student of English. You will be teaching English, yeah? But for example, if we have students of, let's say, from science, who's like, let's say, who's studying math, would they need English as you do, with grammar and discourse analysis and all these kind of courses?
I mean, not that
No.
extreme. Math needs English. There are vocabulary words in math.
But would they study it as you studied?
No, of course
No.
not.
So it depends on the instruction, yeah? As a teacher, I will instruct based on the learners and the courses, the program and all that, okay? So that's what does it mean, okay? So variables, متغيرات. اعتماد على المتعلم or the programmers and instructions and all that, okay? Okay. So the other slide will go historical changes in grammar teaching, okay? In history, how the grammar changed, okay? So we started with what we call the grammar translation, and that's what we used to my time, I think. Yeah.
I feel like
Grammar
I
translation?
started with grammar
Yeah.
translation.
They will, like, you know, say the sentence. It's like in Arabic, yeah. أحمد ذهب إلى المدرسة. Ahmed went to the school, yeah. So we say Ahmed is what?
No.
And it's what? Subject, yeah. And then went is what?
Verb.
Verb. And then to is what? Preverb. Yeah.
No.
حروف الجر and yeah. School.
The object is over.
Yeah. And then if you have, as we said, the complexity of the structures and all that, yeah, had, been, or you added more, yeah. So that's what is grammar translation. You have to memorize it. Sometimes you don't know why you use it, yeah. Okay, it's remind me of, like, you know, when I was learning the driving to take a lesson. Do you have a lesson? Driver lesson? You have? Okay. So my time when I start to learn the instruction how to, you know, to park or, you know, take a detour or anything, okay? So I asked the one who's the teacher, okay? So she's telling me, no, just memorize. And I asked her, okay, why I have to do this or I have to do this? She just told me, like, what? You have to memorize it, yeah? And she was a bad teacher, okay? So, and then I open a new file here. It was in Fujir, and then I reopen it here. Here it was good. He was a man, and he will just explain to you. So I understand why I have to do this, or the signal, or I have to wait, or, you know? So it's different, okay? So that's it's the grammar translation. And I remember we have a group of, like, you know, some of my, like, friends. What we did, we just, you know, what she said, we, like, you know, write it as handout, and we separate it to each other, and then we memorize it. Even until now, I don't remember any of them, because it's what? It's like grammar translation. Yeah? If you don't understand why you have to do this or this, you have to memorize, yeah? And with this, you have to memorize many, yeah?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you know and understand the main idea, it will be easier for you to, you know, to get it for the others, okay? Okay. So here again, a grammar translation. So it's focused on what? On studying grammatical rules, okay, and structures, okay? So just what? You study the rules and what? Structures, okay? You memorize, okay? The target language was segmented into various parts of speech. For example, nouns, verbs, adverbs. So that's just like mentioning to you that what are the parts of the language, okay? For example, that's what you have to study, the nouns, the verbs, and all that. For example, a list of irregular verbs, okay? Do you know what's regular and irregular verbs? Like go, is it regular or irregular? Walk. What does it mean by regular and irregular verbs? Let's say walk, walked, yeah? Go, went. So which one is regular?
The go.
Go. No, the regular is walk because you didn't change it.
Yeah, you add ed, yeah? The other one is changed, totally changed, yeah?
We know
Okay,
all these
got it.
things because we mastered the language from a different way. But
Yeah.
now you're telling us about the grammar. We know it, but we don't know the name of the
The name of the
Yeah.
thing.
If you are, you know, studied as like grammar translation method, so you will memorize. Is it regular or irregular? But you are not, that's the reason you don't care about the names, yeah? Okay. Okay. The other type is audiolingual. Do you know what audio? Audio?
Yeah, you just
You
listen.
listen, okay? The language, okay? So in World War II, do you know what time it was, World War II? 1845, 40, in that time, yeah? Okay. So the need arises for oral communication and the ability to speak foreign languages fluently, okay? In the war, it was what? What happened in the war? You have different? Yeah?
Different countries fighting with each other.
Yeah. So that means different nationality, different languages, yeah?
Yeah.
So in that time, it's a war, yeah? Do you think they will think about, okay, is it regular verb or regular or just
No,
communicate?
just communicate.
Kill me, no, don't kill me. So
Yeah.
it's different, yeah? Let's say, Salama, you are learning Spanish, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that I'm saying it in Spanish, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So please don't kill me. So what will you do? What will you say, for example?
I'll kill you.
Yes or no?
Yes, I will kill you.
Like, what is yes or no in
See?
Spanish?
No.
Yeah. Say, for example,
Sí.
she said like sí. So I'm dead, yeah?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I will say sí. So imagine, yeah, I will be dead.
Yeah.
So that's what it means, yeah? It's like for communication. Okay? So and that's why it started. So it's audio from what? They listen, so that's the way they learn, okay? Audiolingual, okay. So the focus was still on learning grammatical structures and not on the development of real-life communication skills. So in that time, they started to focus more, okay? They started, okay? So lessons start with conversational dialogue followed by drills. So they have kind of dialogue, for example, as a dialogue, as we did, okay? And then drills. Do you know what's drill? Repetition. Yeah. So for example, I will tell you like, let's say, hola. So you say,
¿Cómo estás?
you say hola. Yeah?
Okay, I'll
so
say
you
that.
repeat, okay? And then
Repeating.
yeah.
Okay.
So dialogue, and then you repeat the dialogue. So they learned by audio lingual, okay? So they listen and they repeat, okay? So that's the way they started, okay? As drills, okay? So they start beginning to teach grammar what? Inductively. So what do you mean? Do you know inductive and deductive?
I forgot it.
Okay, just later on check it, okay?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Okay. So through what? Example. Inductive is mean by examples.
Oh,
Okay? So that's what it means. So they will give you examples and then you figure out the meaning from the example. Okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Deductive, you learn it by yourself. There's no examples, no nothing.
Yeah, it's mostly they give you exactly what is the sentence and they give you exactly the meaning and all that.
Oh.
You don't need to think and to figure out what does it mean. Okay? So inductive is what? Through example. Okay? So you have to think. So I'll give you an example. Like for example, you can watch us, okay? I will say like, hola.
Hola.
Then,
¿Cómo estás?
okay? I forgot. ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, some of them. I
Muy
forgot.
bien.
Yeah, okay. So you can check, okay, and see like how our body language, and you can guess what we are saying. What do you think we were saying? Hello, how are you? Yeah. أنا بخير. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. ¿Cómo está? Yeah.
No, ¿cómo estás? How are you? بعد muy bien.
Yeah. it's
Good,
definitely-
very good.
okay. Because now I'm watching like, movies. It's different. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
war and okay. So for example, the word. General in English.
General, they say
Yeah.
something.
Or general.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's for me. I'm focusing the words rather than just maybe structures and all that. Okay. Okay. So lesson in audio-lingual teaching consists mainly of grammatical structure sequenced in a linear manner. Okay. Usually beginning with an easy structure and ending with more complex forms with little attention to meaning or context. Okay. So in this one, they try to what? To learn the grammar and the structure step by step, yeah? So they don't focus that much on the meaning and context because it has more what? Repetition. So they listen and they repeat, okay? So that's what the audio lingual, okay? How are we with the time? Are we done with this one?
There's one last question.
There's one last
Yes, yes. What about the time?
We have
Okay, good. Finish this. Okay. Okay, the third type here. There are many other types, but here it's mentioned only like 3 types. Okay? The third type is what? Presentation, practice, production. So what do you mean by presentation?
To present.
Present loud, okay? Practice,
to work on,
to practice, ممارسة, okay? Production,
to deliver.
produce, okay? In touch, okay? So that one is a type of teaching what? The grammar, okay. So presentation is what? For example, there is a new grammar rules is introduced through text, dialogue, story. As soon as you get familiar with this structure, okay. So you present the idea, okay. For example, using dialogue, movie, or whatever, okay. And then practice, beginning with control practices. Students are giving various kinds of written and spoken exercises to repeat, gain control. So they practice, okay. And then, for example, you practice through repetition, or let's say you will ask them to make a dialogue, or so they role play or whatever. So they practice using that kind of grammar, okay? That type, okay? And then the production, learners are encouraged to use the rules they have learned in the presentation and practice stages, full mastery and fluency. So later on, they will produce it, okay? And they will be mastered, okay? So they will start to acquire that structure. They can say it without just, thinking in their mind, okay, I have to do this and this and this. Okay, it will be easier for them. Okay, so 3 steps: presentation, practice, production. Okay, so practice makes perfect and learn becomes automatic. Okay, and that is as an idiom. Yeah, if you want to do anything, you just practice it, and then it's like the car. Yeah, you have to learn, and then you practice and practice, and later on you can eat. Yeah, listen to music, watch movies, and you can drive with sometimes one hand. Yeah. If you are good, okay, if you master. But before that, no. Do you remember your first time when you started driving?
Yeah, 2 hands.
2 hands, yeah. And I remember like this. I cannot, yeah. Even turn right. Or,
I would just.
yeah, I remember. But now, no, it's easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with mastery, you can for example, today I'm on the road and I hit my car with in the parking lot, or because you master and you don't think about, oh, I will do this, yeah? Okay. So here you have the module, okay? What do you mean by module or model? It's just frame, okay? How you frame,
Figure.
structure or whatever, yeah? Figure or whatever, okay. Okay, so here the advantages, pros and cons, disadvantages, okay? إيجابيات وسلبيات, okay? For this module, okay. So what do you think? Here the advantages. So what we have here has a logic appeal both to teachers and students and reflects the way other skills are learned, for example, football. Okay. So what is the advantage of this model? It's logic, yeah? Because you present it and then they practice and they produce. So it's logical, yeah? منطقي, the way of learning, okay? Okay. The other side, if it is disadvantage, so learners will perform the activity with the new learned structure correctly in that lesson, but will then cease to use it or produce it inaccurately. Yeah. So sometimes, for example, you think that you will follow all the steps, but still, when the student produces, they made mistakes. Yeah. So that means sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. So that's the disadvantages. Okay. Now we'll go to the advantages. Allows the teacher to control the content and pace of the lesson and provides a convenient template. Okay. So for this one, it will be easier for the teacher to create the activities and all that, because she has all the steps, yeah? Okay. For the disadvantages, okay, language is learned in bits and steps, but language acquisition is more complex and less linear than the BBB model assumes, yeah? Like for example, the way I learn, yeah? I learn maybe vocabulary, I learn like piece here and here and here, yeah? Based on the movie, they have different structures or different, so it's not linear. What do you mean by linear?
Straight line? Like
Yeah, it's not linear, like from the word line, yeah? It's not straight. Sometimes can be, up and down. And for example, like, let's say I didn't watch, like, some movies maybe like for a week, so I start to forget, like, those words, yeah? Okay, so it's go down, and then maybe if I go back, it will go up, yeah? And based on what my focus, maybe on greetings, or maybe on, let's say, something related to the war or drugs, or so it depends, okay? Okay. Advantages, control, practices, stage provides conscious focus on forms. So the first one, when you present for the students, so they will what? They will understand, yeah, easily. So they will know what the form, yeah, and it is control, because the teacher will like mention it and will present it. Okay. So the disadvantage, assume that accuracy precedes fluency, but learners might be able to speak fluently while still making mistakes. So if you think about what do you mean by accuracy and fluency, last time we discussed it. Yeah? Accuracy, from the word accurate.
It's being accurate, making
Correct.
sure that you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fluency, fluent, yeah.
Fluent,
speak.
being able
Like-
to speak it.
Yeah, okay. So for example, sometimes you have some students that are fluent, yeah? But still they make mistakes.
It doesn't mean they're accurate.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're accurate. Okay, so that's some of the cons and pros of this model. Okay. So teaching grammar through the BPP model is only one way of teaching grammar, okay? So this is only one way and you have other ways, okay? Yes, you can.